Before I begin the episode, allow me to inform you on 3 ways you can support the In the Works podcast that are no cost added. The first way is to like, subscribe, and comment. This tells the algorithm that you, the listener, are engaged, which in turn will boost our exposure. The second way is also part of the first, commenting on YouTube. Personally, I like comments. I'm curious to see what you guys are thinking about while listening, and it's the only current way I receive feedback and communication. Let me know the things you would like to see in the future or the questions you will have. This allows me to better tailor the future podcasts to you, the listener. The last way is through your regular Amazon purchases through an In the Works affiliate link. Simply click on the Amazon affiliate link in the description on YouTube, and this will bring you to Amazon. Search and order the item or items that you were going to buy anyway. Amazon gives us a small percentage of the cost as commission. Again, this will be no added cost to you. If you are already purchasing something through Amazon, just go through the link and a small percentage will be kicked over to us. This will help us with any platform fees, software costs, growth, and allow for more time to be put into the podcast. Thank you for listening and thank you for supporting. And without further delay, enjoy this episode of In the Works.
In the Works.
I like that. I have to open it again. Okay. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It's the courage to continue that counts. Winston Churchill.
Oh, Winston Churchill. Nice. Where'd you find that?
I actually found it like a couple years ago when I was doing, I had to do social media posts for the National Guard. I was like, that one's cool. That hits hard.
Just scrolling through, just trying to find something.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm getting paid for this, but I still want to make it good. So I was like, okay, cool.
So what does that mean to you?
Like, always keep going, you know?
Yeah.
You don't have to let, like, the bad things just get you down.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. We're back with In the Works, and this is the first woman we've had on the podcast.
Wait, really?
Yes.
What?
Yeah, we've only had like 6 or 7 guests, and all of them men. So it's the first time having a female guest, so you're the first one.
So I'm diversifying you.
Yes, yeah. This is
Shay Sullivan.
Okay. Who are you, Shay?
I'm a female.
Okay.
I'm in the National Guard. I've been homeschooled. I'm a Christian. Just living life right now. Yep.
Yeah. How old are you?
In college. 19.
19.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Sometimes I forget that. I don't like to think about it.
And where are you from?
Here, Kansas City,
Nice.
Missouri. Yep.
Okay. So just to get some context and really a good amount of meat of this conversation, tell me about your upbringing, kind of your childhood, and you could start wherever. Like, what kind of kid were you, you know?
What kind of kid was I?
Yeah.
Well, I had a lisp. Yeah. So that's the first thing I think of.
You were that kind of kid?
Yeah. I was really slow. I don't know how much that's changed. Not too much.
Well, I don't hear lisp, so.
Yeah, I got put in speech therapy in preschool.
Did it work?
And then it did work, and my mom cried about it. She'll tell me that to this day. She's like, yeah, when it started working, I started crying because I just wanted to hear you say, oh, the city's sad and the dotty. I'm like, no, I think I'm good.
Was it really that bad?
It was that bad. We have recordings. It's kind of funny.
Nice.
It's very entertaining. I was that little bright blonde kid. Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously you mentioned just now, and I know I'm going to ask you about, you were homeschooled.
Yeah.
So when did that kind of start for you?
So I was in public preschool. That's when I did the speech therapy. And then I went to public school, elementary for kindergarten and first grade. And then my mom decided to pull me out. She actually got her degree in early childhood education.
Oh,
and then she was working in the school. And that's part of why she realized she really didn't want us involved in it.
Because she saw
Not too much. Yeah, because she realized she spent 4 years on the degree, and then learning how to make lesson plans and work with different kids and meet their needs and everything. And then that's just not really how it went. And she's like, this doesn't make sense. Why would I want to put my kids in that, you know? And then apparently I was getting bullied. I don't really remember getting bullied, but she said that was happening, and I was like, okay. Because the only memory I have is like eating my vegetables and then being embarrassed and hiding from the other kids.
Mm-hmm.
But the story my mom tells me now is that like, oh, they were bullying you because you were eating your vegetables. I'm like,
Did you eat
know
nothing
about
else,
that.
or was it just?
No, I just have this very vivid memory of me being in public elementary school, Southeast Elementary.
Oh, you went to Southeast?
Yeah, I went to
no
Southeast.
way. Okay.
Yeah. I had Mrs. Gorley. She
Nice.
was great. But yeah, I'll be like in the cafeteria and get my Brussels sprouts. And then I like sit at the table with no one else around because I'm like, I can't let these kids see me eating my Brussels sprouts, especially since I had a crush on this little boy, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah.
And he didn't like your vegetable eating?
Yeah, I don't think he did.
Okay.
Or his girlfriend that I was like really jealous of.
Man, drama from the start. Jeez.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I tell people that and they're like, wow, okay.
I don't remember that much drama that young.
I do. And then I'm like, no wonder she pulled me out.
Yeah. So it was, by that time, when she pulled you out, was it just you? Because I know you got a big family. So was it just you at the time, or was your younger sister?
She was pregnant with my second sister.
Second sister.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
so me, and then there's Kaylee, and then she was pregnant with Taylor.
Gotcha. And
So
was Kaylee in school at the time as well?
no, she was like 3 years younger, so she was just, floating around. I don't know.
So bullying was kind of the main determinant of like
That and just like the way that she found out the education system worked.
Just
like
it
she
was
couldn't
like
be really involved, and then it didn't get to be. She liked the child specific stuff.
Okay.
Like she wanted our education to be focused on us, not just like the curriculum that the whole school has to do to meet certain quota and everything.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
And so how did that kind of go, the beginning of it? Do you remember at all? Like, did you set up desks in the living room? What, were you in the same place that you guys are now? Was it the same house?
No, so it was at our old house.
Okay.
Because we lived at our old house, which is like right down the road. It was like on a half acre or something, almost an acre.
Was it smaller
That was fun. Yeah, it was smaller. That's why we had to move when she got pregnant with the twins. But yeah, I was there until I was 9. Yeah, we moved when I was 9.
Gotcha.
The only thing I remember from homeschooling though was like sitting there doing my math on the computer. And then, I don't know, she must have, other stuff happened because I learned my ABCs and everything.
Well,
like I got here.
It's just a big blank
I'm
space.
in college now, but yeah, like memory wise, like I don't remember anything except math.
Okay.
And then she just did the other stuff, hung out at home. We went on field trips.
Nice.
Yeah.
What were those like?
They were fun.
Was it just like to the grocery store and maybe to a park?
She'd joke about this. She'd be like, okay, we're going to the grocery store and then y'all are going to like calculate how many fruits equals what. And I'm like, okay,
Oh, that's pretty good.
we'll do that.
Yeah.
And then I went back and did my math on the computer. So, it balanced out.
Was a lot of the homeschooling at that kind of portion, was it on the computer, or was it, if you remember, of course, was it only some of it was on the computer and then the rest was her? Like, was there a structure to your day that you remember, or was it just math on the computer and field trips sometimes?
My mom's pretty sporadic, but she did have her degree for early childhood education. So everything we did when we were younger, at least like basing it off of what she does with my younger siblings now, because I'm guessing that's how she did it with me then, even though it's like a blank area in my mind.
She's probably got it locked down a little better now.
Yeah.
But
Most of the stuff is like paper, like on paper, like textbook. She'll go to like curriculum fairs and get like these.
the massive.
The massive thing of like writing. Oh yeah, I remember my cursive book. Cursive's a dying thing, but she's you're doing
write cursive?
Not like the best, like it's not like Founding Fathers kind of cute, but it's cursive. I know how to write cursive. I can read it.
Yeah, in about third grade, we learned to do cursive. But here's the thing: it was only third grade we learned to do cursive. So it was like for a period of time, it was just hammering cursive. We had to write essays in cursive, and writing at that time for me was just like, I don't want to do it. A paragraph being 4 sentences, that's way too much, So we have to write a page of cursive, and oh my gosh, it fought tooth and nail, right? Did it and learned it. But at the same time, we didn't do cursive at all afterward, but I still kind of wrote half cursive, half print. And so I kind of developed like a hybrid between.
A hybrid.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the cool ones. Like you can still read it, but it's got a little flair.
Yes and no, because it can be cool to look at, maybe interesting to read, but then sometimes it's just like, what is this? Like, I can't read this. I don't understand this here. Yeah. And I even changed letters on purpose to not, like my T's. I do it completely different than cursive and different from print. The only reason people know it's a T is because of the context. So it's like,
I want to see that now. I'm like desperate.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll
need to know how this works.
Yeah. So kind of, you said you didn't really, up until about 9 years old, you didn't really kind of catch what was going on too much.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't really remember. And then I just know like middle school, since the elementary stuff was more my mom's like niche or whatever. Like that stuff was all paper. And then we got into like middle school, high school, and started doing more like group things. So I had a friend that started homeschooling, and she came over and did history with me and my sisters. And then at that point, most of my stuff was online.
Okay.
So I was doing everything online, at least for the most part. And then just kind of online until I got to my, what was it? Sophomore year? No, my junior year. My junior year, I enrolled in college.
Gotcha.
Here.
So with the online, how much of that was it just online curriculum? Like, did she choose the curriculum, or was it a program that they have for homeschoolers? What sort of things? What was that?
Yeah, so
I know Drew was talking about how he would like have online professors and like lectures and such and work. So
yeah, I did. There's this thing called Monarch on online. It was like one of the programs he was talking about.
Yeah.
So yeah, you just log in, and then I had like 4 courses on there. It was like a biology, math, and whatever else I was doing. Did those, and then that was the bulk of my school. And then I just had extracurriculars like when I took violin.
Do you still play violin?
No.
Can you still play violin?
I haven't picked it up in like 2 years, so that's actually a really good question. Every now and then I'll just be sitting there and I'm like, I wonder if I can still play violin. And then I'm like, do I want to try that right now?
You should go do it, yeah.
Like I should, but I feel like it'd be really embarrassing.
How many years did you play violin for?
3.
3?
Yeah.
Okay. So you kind of got like how to play the strings.
I got the hang of it, but then I was like, I didn't start this early enough to make anything out of it. That's probably a bad mindset to have, but it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah, I guess there is some truth to that, because I remember seeing like somebody interviewing a bunch of, orchestra individuals, like professional orchestra people. All of them started before they were 9.
Yep, exactly.
Some of them as little as like 3, and they were playing. So it's maybe to get to that level, you would have had to start then.
True.
But I know plenty of people who, or have talked to, I don't necessarily know them, talked to plenty of people who are decent at violin. They can play for themselves and play some songs, and they enjoy it, but they started later, like middle school, and at least that's when,
that's where I was.
because I picked it up in middle school as well, and I was afraid to practice in front of people.
Yeah,
I had a big family in a small house,
Yeah.
You can attest, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, very much. And then it's like I'm like, I'd be staying up, being a night owl, playing at like 11
And then your mom comes up.
It's just you're my grandpa yelling, because my grandpa was with us.
Yeah.
So just hear him yelling from the other room, like, turn those strings off. Sorry, like, I don't know. I could have done this earlier, but did I? No, so I'm going to do it now.
So how much time out of the day did you dedicate, I guess, to your schoolwork, and how much was other things?
My mom was really like, do it to completion kind of thing. So it just changed by the day,
Okay.
If I got things done in like 3 hours, I got it done in 3 hours, and then did whatever else I had to do. Focused on hobbies. She liked us to like find our niche, find something we were into, and dedicate time to that.
So what were you into?
I was really big on crafts and stuff when I was younger, like middle school. I crocheted a lot.
Oh, really? Can you still crochet pretty well?
I can still crochet. I just don't really do it as much.
Gotcha. You make like socks, shirts, hats.
I mean, sometimes.
Sometimes.
I mean, I've never made socks, but I've made like tops. Weird.
That's interesting. Yeah. I've seen a lot of people who do that, and it's like, wow, you you like made this from yarn, and how do you even do that? But I guess there's a whole process to it.
It's really fun though. It's entertaining. It's a good way to pass time too.
I've done a scarf.
Oh, that's
Just
so
a
fun.
tube. Thin
See,
tube.
I'll only knit when it's a scarf.
Yeah.
I know how to knit, but like, am I gonna do it? No.
I almost learned. One of my grandmothers was gonna teach me, and I started to do the loops, and I even took home knitting needles and yarn.
Difference, right?
Yeah, and I was like kind of doing it, and then I guess I just fell off of it. But that's a cool skill to have, honestly, to be able to make stuff like that.
Yeah, it's pretty useful.
Yeah,
I liked it.
So I was kind of curious about your family dynamic. Like when you're in about middle school, I think is when you were saying, like, what was your family like at that point in time? Like, how big was it?
Heck, I don't even know if I remember.
Yeah.
Probably. So we moved into the new house, which was when I was 9-ish, 10. My mom was pregnant with the twins. So yeah, I have twin sisters. That's fun. They're a handful, but they're fun. They're cute. So we had the twins, and then how many years? Like 3 years later, had another brother, and then my mom had a miscarriage.
Ooh.
And then, well, I guess that would have been before the other kid, but
Lots of children.
kids.
Yeah. So what was?
And then we also fostered
Oh,
my 3 cousins.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was the situation.
Yeah. Yeah. So what was that all kind of like? I mean, mixed into homeschooling, mixed into just daily life. What was that like? You wake up in the morning and is there just screaming right off the bat, or is?
Yeah, pretty much. If I'm being honest, like, it was a lot of chaos, which is a lot for me because I like my peace, but
Yeah.
I like my privacy.
What did your day kind of look like in that sense?
I just get up whenever I got up, and then if we had like co-ops sometimes, so go do that if I had to do that, and then
that
if
was
not,
the
I do my
co-ops.
work.
Co-ops were what you were talking about. Like this person teaches this, so you go over there and.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
like a block schedule,
Yeah.
and then different parents teach different things. So
And then when you were done, you were just like,
just chill.
let's
I
do
just work
whatever.
on things.
Yeah.
I don't know. I started like looking into minimalism when I was in my teen years.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I'd spend my time, I go to my room, like, get rid of things.
What can we get rid of? And then now you have an
and then
empty
and then
room.
my mom would make fun of me for it. She's like, "Why are you getting rid of those things?" I'm like, "I don't want them there." She's like, "Why not? You got them."
So when did you start doing that, like your minimalism?
I think I was like 14 or 15, probably.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
pretty young to get into that.
Yeah, just like I was overwhelmed by all the stuff, and I'm like, why do I feel this way? and then I realized people like get rid of things. Like, I don't know how I didn't know that before. Probably because my mom, like, she's not a hoarder, but
Pack rat mentality.
yeah,
Like,
it's like I
you
don't
might
wanna,
need it.
It's like I might need it. Like, I could use this. So,
Yeah.
which I
And
kind of get.
especially if you have that
But-
many children, you might need
Yeah.
it. Getting rid of
Yeah.
clothes is a no-no because.
It's like when you're living on one income, you want to be like
Exactly.
making do as much as you can.
Yeah.
But I was the opposite. I'm like, I don't want to just have things to have things.
Yeah. That's a good mentality to have, and to start that
Yeah.
young with that too, because oftentimes where do you collect the most stuff you want to keep? Is in your younger years when you
Yeah.
attach to everything,
True.
even if it's stupid. So I have a whole box of stuff where it's like that, and I'm like, oh man, just can't part with it. Just can't part with those things.
Yeah, I had like one sentimental box, like this big.
Oh, that's a pretty small box too.
Yeah, I know. Except the only thing is kind of been ruined because now I've got this like this big box of just Army gear.
Oh yeah,
I'm
and now
like,
that's
ugh.
like, yeah,
It's like I can't get rid of it.
But
They're
that's-
forcing me to keep it.
that's part of your
Yeah.
occupation.
Part of
though.
what you sign on to.
Yeah. So I'm kind of curious. Yeah. So being the oldest sister in your family, what was that like? Especially when, you were about 15 is what you're saying. And there are all those kids and, your mom's really busy, your dad's really busy. Like how was that being the eldest sister? What responsibilities did you have and what was expected of you?
I feel like it was definitely more like pressure than I would have liked. But then again, I want to be helpful. So I try my best, but it definitely got chaotic sometimes. like, I'm like, oh, I have to babysit. I don't want to babysit. I could be like doing arts and crafts right now or like practicing.
Yeah.
But then, I just got over it.
So you did a lot of child wrangling.
Yeah, and it kind of got crazy because my mom had my 3 cousins to look after too.
Mm-hmm.
So when you throw that in the mix, it's like everybody's just going to have to sacrifice a little bit here and there to make do with everything. And then you just deal with it. But I didn't always like it, but at the end of the day, it's like, that's my family,
Yeah. And you're just chilling with them, do what you got to do, things of that nature.
It was definitely chaos a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, I'm going to try to be grateful.
Did you have your own room the whole time, or did you have to share?
When we got to the new house, so since I was like 10, have my own place.
Had my own place.
That's how I think.
I had a bed to my own.
That's how I have to think about it. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go have some zen.
Yeah. Close the room, shut the door.
Yeah,
Oh, that
I've got
feeling.
my mood lighting in there. Like my sister walked in the other day. She's like, "Oh my gosh, Shay, you've got the big light on. Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I just needed it on." And she's like, "But you never turn it on." I'm like,
unless you're sad or upset, I'm assuming.
yeah, I think I was cleaning or something. I'm like,
wow.
lights on.
Yeah, the feeling of just the first time you walk into your room and it's like, this is my room, and you can close the door. You're like, it's just this weird magic. I would close the door just to close the door. That sounds weird, but it's I could have it open. I don't care.
I'm just imagining you at home right now, like
and just like,
oh,
yeah, because then you just close the door and then I can go and read, and I fought with my brother sometimes, but oftentimes we would do our own things, even if we were all in the same room. But it was just so interesting to just look around and go like, this is my space. I could set it up how I want, and it was a really weird feeling. So
yeah, I definitely like that.
So what sort of things in that time period stood out to you, dude? Like, how did you look at the world at the time?
How did I look at the world?
Yeah, or just what was going through your head? What were you focused on?
We had like a lot of deaths, throughout the
shit. Family members or friends or
just dealing with a lot of family issues.
Yeah,
was hard, but I dealt with it. And then,
so that's what you were kind of dealing with the whole time. Was that your focus?
That's definitely one of the things that distracted my mom a lot. There was a lot of pressure on her, a lot to deal with, which just made everything else like more chaotic. But
yeah,
it was still good. Like I say those things, but it was still good. We always had a roof over our head, and like I got to learn. Like I got to enroll in college at 16, which like a lot of people don't get to do. So I'm like really thankful that I was homeschooled because of that. And just got through everything.
Yeah. So like, how did you deal with those things? Like I guess that constant hang in the air, I assume.
Definitely like my faith and having family around.
Yeah. Yeah, like a little tribe.
Yeah, a little tribe.
Did you guys have friends outside of your family? That sounds like
known that was coming. Yeah,
I was going to ask it earlier.
Really talked about them yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a like kind of smaller friend group.
Okay.
Throughout high school.
Other
but honestly,
homeschoolers or?
Yeah, they were.
Okay. I mean, friends are friends.
I had one friend that I met her in preschool, actually, like public preschool.
Okay.
And we were friends for, that whole time, and she was public schooled, and she's the one that I said like started homeschooling and around middle school and did history with us.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so then all my friends were homeschoolers.
So you got some socialization beyond your family then?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah. My friends were really helpful too.
Yeah,
kind of carried me through. We kind of distanced since then,
That's one of those things that
things
people
of life change.
They talk about homeschoolers and their socialization skills.
Yeah. I mean, I know I have a level of social awkwardness, but I hope it hasn't like dripped into the rest of my life too much.
So in that kind of time period, what were some major wins and challenges that, of course, you're comfortable with talking about?
Ooh.
So things that
Even
were
like
really hard.
like the teenage years stuff.
Yeah. Of that time frame, and what things were like, yes, I did it, know, or things you were proud of yourself with. So one of each, or whatever you want to speak about.
See, it's hard to think about these things because I feel like I just had like a mediocre high school experience.
Hey, that's okay.
Like, it wasn't really too wild or anything. Yeah. It wasn't really.
I mean, through the whole span, anything
horrible.
that was. I mean, you spoke about there was a lot of death in your family, so that of course was challenging.
Yeah, emotionally and spiritually, that stuff really hit me. But then I have my church, I have my family, and just like staying positive about things and knowing that like it's all gonna be fine in the end,
Gotcha. And I guess that's a win too.
Sticking to my faith really helped, like going to scripture and like just listening to good music when things get bad. It's really, I mean, it sounds simple or maybe like too unbelievable. I don't know.
I mean, that makes sense. Music consoles a lot of individuals. So is that where a lot of your music taste came from?
Probably. Yeah. I'm like, I can definitely like, I can turn on like a worship playlist and it just like puts me at peace, nowadays.
Comfort.
Like,
Yeah.
It really is. Like I don't know. It kind of made things easier.
What was the athletics like when you're homeschooled?
Oh, the athletics. I did cross country for like a semester or two.
How does that work? How does that work in homeschooling?
I was on a homeschool team.
Oh, okay. They got actual.
Yeah.
Do they compete against public schools at all, or is it other homeschool teams?
To be honest, I don't even remember.
Okay, gotcha.
I don't know. We were the homeschool team, but like I don't even know who everybody else was. I just know I was there. Yeah, my coach was really cool. It was Coach Sky. We did all of our meetings, like our practices. Most of them were either at Line Creek, which I know you've talked about before.
Yeah, I live right next to.
Yeah.
Not right next to, but I'm close enough.
It's pretty fun to run. And then the rest of them were. Have you heard of Spurgeon College?
I haven't heard of that. No.
Yeah, so it's like one of the. What is it? It's like a Baptist university or something, down by, off of Vivian Road.
Okay.
Yeah, so they had this giant hill, and we'd run that every time. I hated it. It was miserable.
Sounds like you had fun.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes we play soccer afterwards, so that was cool. I medaled on both the races we did, so it was neat, but it's not, I don't know. I didn't really stick to it after that,
So you weren't into a bunch of athletics or anything?
Yeah, not really.
Okay.
Kind of mediocre in that area.
Yeah, it's whatever.
I mean, I went through this phase where I was really into being flexible.
Oh, like stretching.
I just wanted to be a contortionist, to be honest.
I went through a similar thing. Yeah.
And then that kind of dwindled off,
Yeah, you're like, I'd rather just be very rigid and non-moving.
Yeah, that was like a continuous pattern through my childhood or everything. Is I'll find like hobbies and I'll invest in it and like get super focused on it for like a little bit of time until I feel like I got it down, and then I'm like, okay, next thing.
Never doing this again.
Yeah, my mom's even told me, she's like, yeah, you've done that your whole life.
Yeah,
so
accomplish this.
Surprised.
Move on. Accomplish this, move on. That's not a bad thing.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I crocheted, I played violin, like, I did cross country, but like none of them were really a stick with you thing.
Gotcha.
So I just did things, and then I wanted to do new things, and then another new thing, and then another new thing. So yeah, I think I tried macrame at one point. Like, I don't know how to macrame, but I probably made something. Like,
nice.
Yeah.
So how did you grow from, of course, those challenges and also those wins? I mean, you just spoke about all those things you're proud of yourself for doing. And like, how did you grow from that? How did that contribute to your character?
I've definitely learned more about like the way I approach things. Like I hesitate to go for a bachelor's degree or anything because I'm like, I don't want to spend money or the government's money on something that I'm not going to stick with. So I've learned like the way I learn and to be more okay with that. And then, the way I am emotionally, spiritually through those other things, like the deaths and like dealing with the family things with my cousins and everything, you know.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of drama sometimes, but then
Yeah, I can see that.
I definitely learned that it's usually better just to stay out of the drama.
Yes.
Especially if you don't have anything to contribute that's going to change it.
Yeah.
Like, just stay out of it.
I see Danielle nodding her head over there. She's just like,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I would get involved more when I was younger, but now I'm like, it's really not worth it.
Nope.
At least most of the time.
Yeah.
Probably not even most of the time. Like, it's just not worth it.
There might be some things you need to be aware of at least.
Yeah.
But getting involved in, yeah, not really.
Yeah, now I'm like that person who, like, I might sit back and listen. Either that or I'm gonna go hide in my room.
Okay.
My little zen.
Do you enjoy listening to that sort of stuff?
I think it depends on what it
Okay.
is, like, you know, how crazy it is.
Mm-hmm. You just sit there with a smile, ear pressed to the door, you know, like, oh, no way.
I mean, if I feel like it pertains to me, you know, I'm going to listen. You know, I'm going to see what's going on, like what my name's being spread around with. But I was like,
Who's
wait,
talking
how's that going to go?
shit?
Yeah.
No,
What are
I
they
gotcha.
saying about me? Like, you know, you want to know. I mean, sometimes it's not good to know, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So I'm going to kind of move a little bit past
Mhm.
that and into, of course, something that was kind of big for everyone and
Mhm.
changed a lot of things. And that
Oh,
was
boy.
2020.
2020.
So how old were you during that? And what was your
Oh.
experience with it? You don't have to get into particulars or beliefs or anything. Just like, what was
Yeah.
your experience with all that?
I think I was like 15
Okay.
or 14 going on 15, something like that. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
That was right before I started college. I remember actually the first time I heard about COVID, this, like, disclaimer, this might sound bad, but it's my sister's. Like, we had pulled up to a Chinese restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
and then my sister was like, oh my gosh, that reminds me.
Oh, no.
What if we get coronavirus? I'm like, what is coronavirus? What are you talking about? She's like, you haven't heard about coronavirus? I'm like, no.
It's
what
the new
what
thing.
the heck? She's like, like, have you lived under a rock? Like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah. I mean, are you going to tell me what it is? She's like, yeah, it's like this thing from China, like this disease or something. And they're like, oh my gosh, it's going to spread to America. And I'm like, okay, I think you're insane, but I guess I'll look it up or something. And I went and I had my Crab Rangoon and I was like, stop being traumatic. Like,
Yeah.
these people are nice. Not to make my sister sound bad. She's just a jokester.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we left with a full stomach of lo mein and everything. And then like a couple weeks later, it was like, that was everything.
Yeah. And that's when it
then-
exploded.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, schools are shut down. And I was like, what the heck? Like,
You're like, oh man, we don't have to
is
go to
this really
school.
happening? I'm like, oh my gosh. And then, I don't know, it didn't really affect me personally at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like it was a lot of drama because everything, like in the drama thing, like everything was so politicized. I'm like, I kind of just want to not deal with any of it. Like,
Yeah. And I guess
I
luckily,
don't like the drama.
you were being homeschooled at the time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I was homeschooled, and then my sister was in public school at the time because she'd been like begging to try it out. So mom was like, okay, I guess you can one semester. And then she
back at
joked
home.
like, exactly. She found out about the COVID thing, and my mom's like, if that's not a sign from God that you're supposed to be homeschooled, I don't know what is.
the one semester you go to public school,
Yeah.
you're sent back home.
You're sent back home, exactly. And then my sister decided she didn't want to be public schooled after that, anyways. So
Gotcha.
yeah, she's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I don't really like the people, and now she's here. But yeah, I mean, 2020 in and of itself wasn't really horrible. It was just like the end of the year.
Yeah.
We had, you know, the thing in my family, my mom doesn't like it when I say it. Like, my family's like, I'm like, they're cursed. We have like a holiday curse.
Something's.
So like, everybody's dying in
Yikes.
December. I don't really like that. So yeah, like, we lost my grandma at the
Damn.
end of 2020.
Damn.
Which was really hard, and it affected me
Mm-hmm.
more than next year. But yeah, that was the biggest 2020 thing that hit me, not necessarily COVID. So
Yeah.
it's weird how that is. Everybody talks about like, oh, 2020 was a horrible year because we dealt with this pandemic, and I'm like, pandemic? Well, that was nothing. I'm like,
Yeah, for me, it wasn't that bad. I spoke
Yeah.
about this before on another episode, but I wasn't personally affected.
Yeah.
There were some things where it was like, hey, there is potential for, somebody in our family to lose their
Yeah.
job, but a lot of the people in our family actually, it was a good time. It was a lot better time. It might have been stressful for that like risk and like what's going on, and then
Yeah.
of course the buzz in the air if you go on the internet
Oh, yeah.
or talk to some people, that was stressful. But everything else, I mean, I definitely improved myself a lot through.
Yeah, that's good. It did give you
COVID,
time
had
to
fun.
focus on other things.
Yeah, and I know some of the people in my family, like they were still being paid, but they didn't have to be in work as much, so they were getting some better days, and so it was actually kind of nice because I saw my family more during
Yeah.
COVID than I do now.
Yeah.
And it was really cool, and there was a lot more family time, and that was nice. So
Yeah, it's good that you had a positive experience with it.
yeah,
Yeah,
there are plenty of people though, I mean,
that
plenty,
had horrible things
yes,
happen. Yeah.
or
That's sad.
one very significant thing.
Yeah.
So
I do have a lot of empathy. Like, I feel bad that that happened to all of them, but I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah, it was
the
a
virus
mess.
itself didn't affect my family too bad. But also, my dad's like an essential worker, so
Yeah, essential.
essential.
I was
It's-
essential.
it's
I got my
weird how
job
we got
during
those
COVID.
labels
Yeah.
in COVID. Like, nobody really thought about themselves as essential or unessential, and then now we're like, yeah,
I was
we need you.
I was in between jobs. I had just quit a restaurant that I was working at, and I was kind of lounging a little. I had like a bunch of money saved up, and I didn't spend a lot of money at the time, so I was just kind of like chilling for a little bit, casually looking
Yeah.
for a job and trying to find like a really good one. But when you have no experience or no skills, it's not really gonna happen. And if you
Yep.
don't know anyone, Coral's trying to talk to me. 1 second. I'll be back. What's up?
Hey.
We got about 45 minutes. Yes, please. Which is fine. I think we can. What was I talking
All good.
about? Yeah, just had to. There was a little time issue, so we only have like 45 minutes. But
My whole morning had to go crazy.
yeah, because you got a flat tire and everything
Flat
like that.
tire, and then on the way, my car was like low fuel, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah, that sucks.
Nice.
Yeah, what were we speaking about just now?
The COVID
Oh, okay. Yeah,
happenings,
kind
I
of
guess.
all that. Yeah.
jobs, essential, being essential.
Yeah, essential. And I everyone was talking about how hard it was to find a job. I guess that was more skilled labor was difficult to find a job.
Yeah.
But I'd started working at a grocery store, and we were essential workers, and they
Yeah.
were like, "We need people. We need people. We need people."
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I kind of want to go from, I guess, that point and bridge the gap between then and now. So what kind of happened in between there? And I know you went to basic training a little later, so you could kind of bring us up to that, then we'll talk about that.
Yeah, so 2020 happened, and then into 2021, like I said, my grandma died that year, and it kind of got me down a lot. And I know I was working at Hawaiian Bros at that point.
Really?
Yes, I worked at Hawaiian Bros.
Did not know that.
Yeah, I grilled up chicken every day.
Nice.
It was cool. And then I was also in school. I think I was full time at that point with school, and then just working part time.
Was that college you were in at that point?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was in college, but I was online. I was
Gotcha.
online at that point, so it wasn't like here. I just did my work and then went to work.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I kind of got into a little slump with life, like, emotionally, spiritually. My mom took me to an appointment and was like, gonna get me in therapy.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, because I was like really depressed for like a month straight.
Damn.
I mean, I hate using that word because I'm like, was it really? Because I know other people have different experiences, and like, was my like month of sadness?
I mean,
like,
yeah, you can be depressed for a long time.
I was like starving myself.
Oh,
so
yeah, that.
I'd say it was.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't eat, and it's not that I didn't, like, my mom tried to get me to eat and everything, but I was just like, I don't know, I reached a point where I was like, oh my gosh, like, what is life? What am I doing with myself? Like,
Is that why you felt that way? Do you know kind of what brought upon?
yeah, I think looking back now, a lot of it was just stuffing away the grief. Like, I chose not to think about it at the
Kinda
beginning
caught
of
up
the
to you.
year. So yeah, then it was like into the school year, and I've got a full load of work on me with school. Plus, I'm still in high school, and I'm doing college online, which makes it harder
Yeah.
because you don't even have the people around to encourage you.
Yeah.
Like, when I started here, I had you guys, like, all my friends, and like that really helped. But yeah, and then like I had my like main friend that I talked to about everything. She was great, and like she prayed for me, and like my family was trying to help me out. And then we were gonna like get me in therapy, but like we didn't do that. Didn't end up happening because we were who was it? My mom had me talk to a family friend, and then she got me into this. She did a Bible study with me. It was what was it called? I don't know, but it was focused on your mind and like
Okay.
the thought patterns you get stuck in, and then it correlated all that with the scripture that supports like getting out of those thought patterns and like helping you
Gotcha.
think positive, because we know like from psychology and science nowadays that the way you think really shapes the way you feel and everything, and like
So it was
looking for the positive is important. But then when you look in the Bible, it really backs all that up too. It's like, it's kind of funny how like the science that we know and like what scripture is telling us, like focus on joy and gratitude and all these things. Like, we know those are important. So it was really cool. Yeah. And then that woman, she really helped. Like, she was praying for me. And then I was working on thinking better and everything. And then, yeah, it started getting better. But then I still quit my job at Hawaiian Bros because I realized that was part of what was really overwhelming me.
Was it overwhelming, or was was it making you sad? Like, was it the people you were around?
I think it was the people, because I got a new job after that, and it was better.
I will
It
say
was
the
way
restaurant
better.
industry.
Yeah,
I-
it was
night and day difference when I
super
quit.
overwhelming. It was so overwhelming. And I'm like, I mean, it's not like there weren't people there I was fine with, but most of them were just like such a drag. I'm like, why do I want to be around these people?
Oftentimes, or at least in my experience, a lot of them are having some sort of substance abuse issue, or I don't know. It seems to collectively drag people down. Like, I've seen bright, innocent individuals come in, and then, you're 6 months even, and then they're completely different. Now they have an addiction that they won't admit it's an actual addiction.
Yeah.
And they're a sour soul. And, I've seen these people years after, and, it's just, they went that direction. Some, spiked up, and they're like, oh, realize, what's going on.
Exactly.
But I guess it's just the people you're around, and maybe the hours or the type of work.
Yeah.
Or,
I mean,
I don't know.
I was only part-time, so I was like, I don't think it's the hours. Like, I'm not overworking myself. Like, I come home, I go to sleep, I do my school, and maybe it's a little stressful, I've got a headache, but
Yeah.
that's not going to affect me in such a way that I'm like, I'm starving myself. I'm like feeling depressed and everything. So yeah, I decided to quit my job, and I did that. And then I was at home with my family. I'm still in high school, so I took a couple months off from working, and then like prayed about what I was going to do next, because I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing with myself anymore. Like, even though I'm over this depression thing, at least right now, like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. And that was kind of a weight on my shoulders, and
Yeah.
I didn't like it, because I was gonna I was going to go for sign language interpreting. That was one of my, high hop around hobbies and stuff. Like, that was one of the things I got really into, was like doing sign language and learning about the deaf community. And that was really cool. I liked that time. It was fun to learn about, but after that little slump, I was like, I don't really want to do this forever anymore. Kind of lost the passion for it, I guess. And I'm like, what am I going to do next? I don't know. And then a couple months later, I get this call.
Oh, no.
That's how it usually goes, right? It's this lady. She's like, hi, this is Natalie with the U.S. Army.
Oh, my God. You got...
Have you ever thought about joining the military? I'm like, no. She's like, did you know we could pay for your college? I'm like, I guess. She's like, do you want to just come talk about it? And I was like,
I'll talk to anyone.
I guess. So yeah, I talked to my mom about it. I don't know. It was like a random Thursday. I don't know how I remember it was a Thursday, but that was a Thursday. So crazy. I messaged my friends. I'm like, yeah, I think I want to join the military. They're like, are you kidding? I'm like, well, I don't know for sure, but like, I'm going to talk to this lady. And they're like, oh my gosh, Shay, this might change your life forever. And I'm like, yeah, I guess, but we'll see.
Jeez. But she was probably like, oh my gosh, that was the easiest call I've ever had.
I know, exactly.
We bagged another one, boys.
She's like, do you do drugs? No. Do you drink alcohol? No. Do you have any like felonies? No. Oh my gosh, we scored.
You're the perfect candidate.
Perfect candidate.
Do you have
now.
Do you have a direction in life at the moment?
No.
Perfect. We got you.
Yeah, so they snagged me. She was a reserve and active recruiter, so she kind of talked to me about all of that, and I was like, oh my gosh, yes, this is it. It's like an answer to prayer. It gives me something to do. I'm gonna go active.
Damn.
Let's do it. And my mom was like, no, this is not happening.
And did you just listen to your mother for that?
You can't do that. No. So this lady, her name was Natalie something. I don't even remember, which is weird because she would have gone by her last name, but I know her name was Natalie. So Natalie was like, yeah, and then there's like the National Guard too. And then my youth pastor at the time, he was in the National Guard. He had just re-enlisted as an officer. So I think he was about to commission. I don't think he'd commissioned at that point. So my mom was like, let's call Andrew up because he's going to know a little more about all of this and maybe you won't make a stupid decision at the snap of a finger. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. Let's talk to him. So like that same day, he comes over to my house and we are like sitting on the deck and he's telling me about the National Guard and talking to my mom about it and like all the benefits and like the risks and like the difference between the Guard and then going active or going reserve and like Air Force too. Like I knew someone who was Air Force. I'm like, I don't want to do that. No thanks. But yeah, he told me about that. And then my mother and I's compromised since I was 17. So
that's right. Yeah.
I couldn't join without a signature.
Gotcha.
So our compromise was the National Guard because, I'd be able to do my thing and then come back home. And then she'd get to see me again. Like I'd be here most of the time. So that's what we did.
Nice.
I enlisted in the Army National Guard.
Was that early 2022?
21.
21. Okay.
21. Yeah.
Okay.
It did. It was still a journey after that.
Because don't you have to wait till you're 18 to actually go?
No.
Not to sign, but to actually go off to basic and do things?
No. So they can ship you at 17. They can do what's called split ops, which is where in your, what would it be? Like the summer between your junior and your senior year, you go to basic training and then you come back, you'd finish out school. And then the next summer you go to your AIT, which is advanced individual training.
Gotcha.
So you learn your job and everything.
Okay.
And you're still getting paid for drills in between there.
Nice.
So you can ship early.
Gotcha.
For that. But I decided not to because I wanted to spend some more time at home and I wanted to just finish out my college for that year.
Mm-hmm.
And well, I was in college, but I still hadn't graduated high school.
Yeah.
So I wanted to have like the graduation experience, even though I was homeschooled. I still wanted to, have the feelings, the fun, walk the stage.
I did it, guys.
Yeah, I did it.
Yeah.
So the plan after I enlisted as a 25 Sierra, and then I was going to ship in about 9 months right after I graduated in June of, that would have been 2022. It's a lot. Yeah.
But I guess you didn't ship because, that's when, that's when I met you, Danielle met you, like, that's when the whole group kind of happened, was 2022,
yeah.
So.
Then, like, if you want to, it's kind of political.
Oh, gotcha.
The things that kept me up. I don't know how much you want to go into that, but.
I mean, we only got like 30 minutes, so if you wanted to.
I'll just keep it baseline.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care what other people think, but I think what I think. Yeah. So they were mandating the COVID vaccine at that point, and I had told my recruiter that I didn't want to get it, and she was like, "Oh yeah, you're cool. Whatever. I'll let them know. You'll be fine." And then we get to 2 weeks before I was about to ship.
Yeah.
And I'm doing my like out processing papers with my RSP coordinator. And she's like, "Oh, and then you sign this one, like that you're going to get the COVID vaccine when you leave." And I'm like, I told my recruiter I didn't want to do that, And she's like, "You mean Harris or whoever?" Or like this person? And I'm like, yeah. She didn't tell you? No.
Wow.
And then she laid out all my options for me, which was I could apply for an exemption and start that process, but that means my ship date would get canceled.
Yeah.
Or I could just go and get it, the vaccine, which I wasn't okay with. So just like personal beliefs and stuff. So I decided to go for the exemption route, which canceled my ship date. So I didn't leave that June.
Gotcha.
And then I started the process to get the exemption. And it was going well and everything, I had gone through, like, you have to do, like, multiple steps. You got to submit your application, and then they do, like, a medical thing. Like, they have you talk to a medical person, then they have you talk to a chaplain, and then like some other person I don't even know. So you have to talk to all these people, these important people. They tell you all these things, and then you have to submit your request letter, and you have to have like additional people. Like I had 2 other people write letters, like basically validating my religious belief. And then I was almost to the point where I was going to get approved, and they revoked the mandate.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, are you kidding? Are you freaking kidding?
So you pretty much missed out on going, and then they...
well, it's like they would have given it to me because it was mandated
it was at
when
the
I
time.
left. Yeah. But it was just kind of like...
Like how many weeks after did they revoke the mandate?
It was like 6 months later, something like that.
Okay. So it wasn't just like 2 weeks later, everyone shipped out, and you're just like...
I had been going through this process.
Gotcha.
I like cried over it because it's like, I still really want to do this thing. Like I battled over whether or not I wanted to even stay in. Because at that point, I could have just called them up and been like, "Hey, I'm not doing this anymore."
Sorry guys.
Because I hadn't shipped.
Yeah.
So since I hadn't shipped and I hadn't signed anything as an adult, from what I've read online, like on the military website.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would have been able to just, get out of it. It's like you did Girl Scout camp for a few months.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, I do really want to do this. So I kept going. And then I got a ship date for May, but with a different MOS. So I lost my bonus.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. I had to give that up.
Damn. That's...
Yeah,
Jeez.
lost the bonus. I lost the job that was going to be all cool and techy, but it was really fun.
Yeah.
I had a good time at training, and I do like my job now. It's not bad. It's kind of fun. Got good people around me. So yeah.
So kind of how was it? Because that was about, you were saying like summer-ish of 2022.
Yeah, that they canceled my ship date,
And
the first one.
That fall you did a semester, actually you did a year here, right? You did a semester and then a
Yes.
spring semester.
I did. That is when
Yeah.
I went in person
Gotcha.
for school.
And was that your first time like in person in a
Yeah,
long
it was.
time? That's
Well,
funny.
I'd done one in-person class before
Yeah.
that, but it's like I just showed up to class and left, you know.
Yeah,
I wasn't
gotcha.
really involved in the culture, I guess, of the
Yeah.
school.
It was pretty fun.
It was a good time.
And okay, so how was basic training then? Because I remember we all said goodbye to you. We had this big
Yeah.
dinner. Your family was there.
It was a great dinner.
Yeah, and then afterward we were running around a park throwing frisbees and then
grass.
Yeah, and grass. Yeah, frisbees, footballs, running
Yeah.
around, and
And I was
Yeah.
a nervous wreck.
yeah. But we also took a really good photo that looks like an album cover.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I love it. I feel
90s
like we need
album
to put
cover.
it up.
Yeah, right. I'll see if I can do that if I remember.
Yeah.
But that one was pretty fun. And then not too much time later, and then you were gone. I want to say it was it like May? It was end of May, like May 30th.
22nd.
22nd.
Yeah,
Okay.
a week before my birthday.
Okay, nice.
That was interesting. Yeah, so I definitely, I can be an overthinker. Of course, I was. I thought it was going to be a lot worse. Like, not to say it's not hard, especially like for some people, depending on like your fitness level going in and like your mentality. Obviously, I'd been preparing mentally
Yeah.
and physically to do this for 2 years at that point.
Yeah.
Almost 2 years. So
Were you thinking it was going to be like Marine basic training?
yeah. I was definitely like the mentality like, I'm going to be a Marine.
Yeah.
It wasn't that bad.
Okay.
At all.
What take us through your experience. I know we only have like 30 minutes, so you don't have to rush through everything, but just hit
Kinda keep
the
it simple.
important,
Yeah.
hit the important things about that. I wish we had our full hour, but I guess
Yeah.
some scheduling issues. So
Yeah.
go ahead.
That's on my tire.
Yeah. Well, also I guess some club, their meeting time wasn't on the schedule.
Yeah.
So,
It happens.
Yeah.
I'll try to keep it simple, I
Yeah.
guess.
Oh no, you're good. Just yeah.
Yeah, so by far the worst part for me was the first day. So I flew there. I had some airport food, which I think was my biggest problem. Obviously, you're a little jet lagged when you get off, and then like the first thing that happens is you're at the airport, and this drill sergeant shows up, and he's like, "You're gonna get on my bus, and you're not gonna say a word, and you're gonna put your head down and put your hands on your knees, and this is gonna be like the worst experience of your life," and blah 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 blah. And he's like, "Put your hair up." Okay. So you do that, and it's like, it's all intimidating. And then they take you to 120th, the reception battalion, because I was at Fort Jackson. So that's where I went, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. And I got there, and those first like 48, 72 hours were completely horrible for me. Pretty sure I got food poisoning
Oh,
from the airport food. From the airport food.
So out the gate, just handicapped.
Yeah, just already ruined.
Nice.
Yeah, so there was this other girl that vomited while we were at reception, and I was like, oh, this sucked to be her.
Yeah.
And the next thing I know, that was me. That is the only day throughout the entire process of my military training I wanted to quit. And we were sleep deprived. I don't think I slept for like 42 hours straight. I didn't hate it, which,
Nice.
I don't know, some people were sleep deprived for longer, so it's not like it was the worst experience, but mine, that was the worst part of my training.
Yeah, you've never done that before.
Yeah, and then like my military AD, I hate it so much because we were standing in line to get our photos taken. This photo that's gonna, be on your record for the next like however many years of your military career. I about passed out in this line. Like, there's a wall. You're not allowed to stand on the wall. They're trying to teach you discipline.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't even know if I was going to stay awake. Like, I was falling onto the person in front of me.
No way.
Like, vision going in and out. And then they take you into this room and they're like, stand there, honey. And I'm like, okay, ma'am. She's like, your hair is a mess. Slick it back. And I'm like, I get water and like slick it back. It's still a disaster because like we don't have any products yet.
Yeah.
Like they tell you to pack one outfit and then you're gonna go to the store and get like all the things you need, like your hair gel and your soap and all that. Well, I didn't have any of that yet. Like they just have you stand around all day when you're vomiting and like vision going in and out. Like I had a pounding headache. It was like
Jesus Christ.
I want to leave. I don't know why I did this, but I told myself while I was standing there in the sun, like feeling like I'm gonna pass out, going to the porta potty every like 10 minutes because I'm like vomiting and stuff. Like I'm just gonna get through these next 24 hours, and if I still don't like it, if I'm not any better by then I'm gonna tell them I'm done.
Oh, jeez.
But I'm gonna get through the 24 hours because like, the back of my mind, I think I knew like if I just get through this part, I'll be fine. So that's what I did. The mornings were like the toughest at reception, but I got through the reception week, and then like the longest week of my life. It wasn't even a full week. It was like 3 days, and then they put you on a bus, and it feels like you're going 45 minutes away, but it was like 5 minutes down the road. To my unit for basic, and I was in Echo Company 113th. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. I loved my drill sergeant. Loved my drill sergeants. They were amazing. It's really weird because you get this like parent complex with them. It's like I love my dad to death, but like they become your parents, so it's like, you know, you get a lot of respect for them, and like
You're like, thank you for being so harsh on me.
yes, like, so yeah, it was really cool. And then I did all my FTXs. Once you get through those first few weeks, it's kind of smooth sailing.
Yeah.
It wasn't too bad. Like physically, I don't know. I feel like I passed my PT test fine. We just worked out every morning and it was easy. It was like a lot of calisthenics stuff. Like,
was it just
push-ups, and sometimes we do weights, but
yeah.
not
What
very often.
was your average day like when you wake up? You know.
Yeah, so we'd get up around like 4:30, I think 4:30, and be down in formation at 5 in our respective platoons, and then we would work out and then eat around like 7, and then what do we do after that? It really depended. It really depended on the phase you were in. So the first phase was yellow, so after that we just do classes the whole day. They'll do stuff on like EO, equal opportunities, and SHARP, and like racism, like all the things you can't do, all the things you need to know. So we just did classes for that first week. And then you go into red phase. So for red phase, it was a lot of like the obstacle courses. It was really fun. I'm still a little under the weather. Yeah, so I loved that part. I actually really liked red phase. It was so fun. Did those things, and then what else? Oh my gosh. I feel like I should have wrote this down.
No, it's okay. I mean,
that was like the physical part. So we had our super squads formed, and they did the obstacles. And
you okay? Oh, you're good.
probably need a minute.
Yeah, that's okay. Breathe. I hope so. Just a plague day. Maybe you are
I'm
cursed.
still getting over something.
Okay. So I don't know how much I'll cut out of that, but she was coughing over to the side and dying for a second. But
yeah, for real. Like my throat's completely shredded right now. Yeah. There's something going around my house, and like when you have so many kids, it's like it just stays. It lingers. I'm like, I didn't bring cough drops.
So sorry to cut you a little short on that because we got 15 minutes now. But
it's my body rejecting me.
I know. Oh man, I wish we had our full time. But
yeah.
So I'm just gonna kind of go through some questions here. What was it like coming home and first completing basic training and then coming home to that? What was that kind of like to you?
So the basic part, I was kind of really excited to go home after that, just because you don't realize how much stress it is until you're out of the situation. Like, it wasn't horrible, but then once I finished the forge, it was like, oh my gosh, I'm on the phone with my mom during our little like phone time. And I started bawling. I'm like, oh my gosh, I finished it. Like, I don't know why I'm crying so much. Like, it wasn't even bad, but like, I'm just ready to get out of here. I'm tired of these people.
Oh, geez.
It's so annoying. And then I got to see my family for graduation, and then I went to AIT after that.
Gotcha.
So, settled in at AIT, and that was definitely, it's more fun. Because you get a little bit more freedom, but you're still...
They're not trying to beat you down.
Yeah, not so much. You still have structure. We actually got smoked more at AIT, which I was not expecting, but like, it wasn't bad. You know, I feel like I got stronger, especially with running, because the way they did the runs at basic was so horrible. I mean, it was kind of bad at AIT, but it was better than the way we did them at basic. So I liked that part, and I didn't really want to go home. Like,
after
they tell you that's gonna happen, but like, that you're gonna miss basic, and
you found your people.
You're gonna miss AIT and everything, and you're not gonna want to leave. And I didn't believe it. I mean, like, I did, but I'm like, yeah, I'm still gonna want to go home. But yeah, it might sound like an insult to everybody back here, but it really isn't. It's just like, you get so used to the lifestyle. You know, you wake up every day, you know what you're going to do, and if you don't, you just wait till they tell you what to do. So you kind of don't have to think, and it's horrible, but like, part of the motivation for not wanting to go back is like, I don't want to have to think again. Like, jeez. I'm going to have to come back and like actually be a person and not just
make
like a figure, you know, little figure. But it was fun. I surprised my family when I got back. It was cool.
Nice.
Yeah. I didn't tell my mom I was coming home till Sunday, and then I showed up, and my cousin picked me up.
You're like, hey. I'm guessing she just cried her eyes out.
Yeah, she screamed. I got it on video. It was
just
fun.
Walk into the house, boo.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
And then we went and surprised my sister at work.
Nice. That's awesome. So, what are the biggest differences between who you are before basic and then who you are now? So that's kind of a big significant thing. You were trained in a lot of stuff. So, you know, how do you see the world differently? How do you interact with people differently? How does that skill set, you know, how does that apply to you now? So what are the biggest differences?
I think the main thing is like the way I approach obstacles or like things I'm not good at now. Because when you're at basic and AIT and everything, it's like, if you can't do something right the first time, they're going to be like maybe they'll tell you you're an idiot, but they expect you to still just get through it and get the job done. Like, you have a mission. Things are going to go wrong. They're always going to go wrong, but you're just going to keep trying until you get it done. And they ingrain into you that like a wrong decision is better than no decision at all. So even though sometimes it's, you know, applying those things to civilian life isn't always going to look the same as the military, it kind of has helped me. It's like, if I feel bad about the way I'm doing something or not being able to get something done, I'm like, well, you know, I'm just going to do it. You know, it might suck. I might be bad at it, but I'll just do it and get it over with. So I kind of like that. They ingrained that into me a little bit. Whereas before, I might have like dwelled over what I couldn't do more. I feel like I'm able to dwell more on what I'm able to accomplish now. Yeah, so I think that's one of the biggest outtakes.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
That's kind of part of why I chose that quote. Because even though I was like search through things to find it. I'm like, you know what, that kind of is really what I've learned through
Resonated
this whole
with you,
process. Yeah,
even after
kinda
all that time.
resonated. Yeah.
So I'm going to kind of look more toward the future now.
Mm-hmm.
And what aspirations do you have for the future? And what are you doing now to fulfill them?
Ooh, that's fun. So, like, military-wise, I do want to reach sergeant. I think that'd be fun. I don't really know, like, how long I'm going to stay in. Like, I'd like to make it a long-term thing, but, you know, you never know what life's going to throw at you. So, I have started my DLC course to work for...
DLC?
Honestly, there's so many acronyms in the military.
Because I hear downloadable content.
Yeah,
right.
not that.
Okay.
I don't know what the acronym means because there's so many that you
Gotcha.
just hear things, you don't even know what it means.
You're like, oh yeah, that thing.
You know what you know what it does, you know what the purpose is, you know what it, but you don't know what it stands for.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it's the course that I have to do in order to work towards being promoted to corporal.
Gotcha.
So after I complete that, I don't know when the next opportunity I'll get to get a packet in, like a promotion packet is.
Mm-hmm.
But once I do that, then you have to go to BLC, which is Basic Leaders Course.
Gotcha.
And then you can become an NCO.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So, yeah, I'm just finishing up the DLC right now. And then moving on to the next steps after that.
Okay. So how has your experience, you know, with your family,
Mm-hmm.
how has that shaped your ideas and goals about, you know, maybe a family of your own and such? Is that something you are going to want to go for in the future? You know, what defines family to you now?
Yeah, I think about that a lot. I definitely, I don't want as many kids as my family had, but they've also kind of opened my eyes to the idea that, like, you never really know what's going to happen, but, like, you'll be fine, you know? That's what happened with my parents. Like, they didn't know they were going to have that many kids, but they did, and, you know, they got us, and it's cool. We have fun together, you know?
They're like, oh, we just want one child. For 10 children.
No, my
later.
mom always tells me, she's like, yeah, when I was younger and dating your dad, we were sitting in the car one day, and I asked him, like, how many kids do you want? Because I want 4. And he's like, well, I want 2. And they're like, well, why don't we compromise and we'll just have 3? And then you look at us now, they got 8. And they got 5 more than they were gambling for.
And then plus, you know, taking care of your cousins for a while.
Yes,
Yeah.
there were 10 in the house at once.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
That's
happened.
a lot.
So
That's a lot.
I definitely, like, I don't want to shoot for a super large family like that, but you never know.
But you do want, that's something that you are looking forward to.
Yeah, I would like
Gotcha.
children. I'm definitely glad I have the large family I do, because I know I'm always going to have that support system. And, you know, my siblings are cool. My parents are very loving and everything, so I'll always have built-in babysitters.
Nice options.
Yes.
I do think that's pretty cool with large families who are close. The support system.
Yeah.
Because Danny's family is super large, and
Yeah.
I mean, there's always, you know, connections. Hey, you could have this person watch this person, or can you do this and that? And anytime there's an issue, it's like they get closer. You know, it's a lot more close knit, and it's really
true.
cool to see and really cool to watch, especially when it's not only that it's a big family, but they're also close.
Yeah. That definitely happens, like,
Yeah.
over the years. Like, the way our family dynamic has changed a little bit. Like, I think certain things have definitely made us closer, especially with my siblings. Like, my mom always taught us growing up, like, you know, your friends are going to come and go, but you can't change your family. So you need to make sure you're not doing anything to hurt those relationships.
Yeah.
And
That's good advice.
that's really impacted me.
So how do you influence or impact the people around you?
That's a good one.
Or how do you feel that you do? How
How do I feel it? Yeah, I guess I'm like, I've never taken a poll.
Hey guys, actually, didn't we do that one time? Everyone took
I think the Johari window, or
yes, yeah, because it had like traits of this person.
yeah, I
So
guess
a little different, but
Well, let me think about what they said about me on there. I think they said I was strong, independent woman, and I was religious. So I guess I affect him by being a strong, independent, religious woman.
Maybe having a moral compass, maybe.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Yeah.
I don't really know. I've never, maybe I should do a questionnaire.
Yeah.
Look into that. I was actually in an advising appointment like a few months ago before I enrolled in classes here again. And this guy was like, well, what are you doing with yourself? And I'm like, I don't really know. And
That's a
like,
great question.
You know what I think you should do? I think you should go home and you should ask the 3 people you're closest to, like, what your strongest traits are and what your weakest things are. And I'm like, okay. And
Yeah, that's
I asked one person. I don't remember what she said.
that's always nerve-wracking too. 'Cause
Yeah.
then
like,
you hear what they say and you're like,
what are they going to tell me?
It's
She's
a lot.
like, you need to work on time management. I'm like, oh, okay.
Maybe you asked the wrong person. Because some people don't necessarily have an accurate view of who you are. Because just because I may have a view of you per se doesn't mean it's correct or accurate.
Yeah.
I could say, hey, this is what you're like. And maybe I'm just a really bad mirror, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like one of those funhouse mirrors,
true.
you know?
Yeah, I heard this thing one time and it was like, never accept criticism from anyone you wouldn't take advice from.
Exactly.
And I've really taken that to heart. I don't even know who said it, but I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I oftentimes, I filter people's opinions, definitely.
Yeah.
Even if I ask for them. Like, okay, maybe what you said. I'll take a little bit of it of that. I'll take it in my mind and be like, maybe.
Yeah.
But if I don't see that it's true, then it's like, okay, no.
Yeah.
But I don't always completely throw out their opinion. I just go, probably not.
Well, and you got to think about the place they're coming from too, because
Yes.
everybody has different backgrounds.
Everything
different
alters their view.
everything,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Okay, so last question. What makes you enjoy life?
So deep. What makes me enjoy life? Like right now.
I mean,
I'm
yeah,
just gonna
in
question
general,
your question.
yeah. What makes you
That's
enjoy
helpful.
life? Whether it's right now or in the future, you know, in the past, overall.
Definitely like my siblings and my church family. You know, they make it good, and then trying new things. Like I said, I like trying new things, learning new things, like having fun hobbies, and then like coffee. You know.
Yeah, coffee.
I do work at a coffee shop, so
Coffee's way up there on the list.
yeah, coffee. I'm like, do I need to decaffeinate? Probably. Is it gonna happen anytime soon? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're in the military, so that's gonna be chronic caffeine
the thing
use,
is,
right?
I didn't have caffeine for like all those months, and then
So how does it happen though?
yeah,
I don't know.
I was fine without it, but I was like,
Now you're dependent.
no, I don't think I'm dependent. I mean, some people would say I'm an addict, but
But I don't think so.
but yeah, I don't.
I
think
could quit
so.
at any time.
Exactly. Yeah.
I might believe you with that one though.
I think I drink a healthy amount of caffeine.
Healthy.
So.
I don't know any metrics, so I can't refute that. But
Yeah. Like, I don't have to have it every day. I'll just take a sip every day. That sounds like an alcoholic's
I had a little bit.
villain story or something.
I almost never have caffeine. That's not true. I seldom have caffeine, but I usually do it either a little bit before a podcast or on a specific day where I need to get a lot done. I try to use it maximum,
Use it
like one, maybe
intelligently.
twice a week. Yeah.
Intelligent caffeine use.
Yeah.
I like
Intentional.
that. Intentional caffeine
Yes.
use. Yeah.
Might not be the most intelligent. I don't know.
I mean,
But-
sounds like it to me.
Maybe. Well,
But yeah,
thank you for
Maybe
coming
thanks.
on. You know, first woman, also friend.
it's so crazy.
So, yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool to get everyone, well, not everyone, but a lot of people on that I know.
Yeah.
It's really cool to hear their stories because I knew a lot about you generally, but I didn't know it in this order to this detail. And
Yeah.
now that I do, I could also ask you more questions later. So
So fun.
I could always, get to know you.
Get
more.
ready to be interrogated.
Oh, no, I don't.
I know, I'm kidding.
But it's really cool to just dive into someone else's story and see what pushes them, see what drives them,
Yeah.
why they do what they do. So thank you for coming on. And
Thank you.
Thank all you guys for listening, and like, subscribe, leave a comment, and especially if you're a friend of hers, leave a comment, please.
Oh no.
Please share that with some friends if you want to see them see it or want to have them see it.
We'll see
But
about that.
definitely comment. I like comments, and I think they're very valuable. So leave a comment on YouTube, because Spotify I don't think has comments. But yeah, and that's all I got today. So we'll just get going, and we got 2 minutes to
letting me be your
spare.
first woman.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's crazy.
Diversifying.
Yeah.
Danielle. She's smiling at me. So. All right. Well, see you guys later.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching In the Works. Subscribe and like for more.